All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Spencer Lau, and I am the head of NextStreet's Industrial Supply Chain Forum and a senior director at NextStreet. We are so excited to be here with you all today for our event, Forging Ahead, Centering Small Businesses Amidst Regional Change. Um, this event is so exciting to see such a great cross-section of folks that are here today from government, philanthropy, industry, finance, community organizations, and of course, small businesses. And as we are really focused in terms of the conversation today, we are especially excited to see all the folks here today as we think about what truly is the collaborative spirit in Los Angeles, as we are all trying to make things just a little bit better at this point in time. And as we look around the room, to see such a great set of folks here today. Also, as we look around the room, I just want to say how special it is to be here at Lendistry and these really special. You can see the beautiful this facility, and we're really to be able to have a conversation at such an impactful organization. And you'll hear in just a second from Everett about just how much impact that Lendistry has had over the last several years. But before we go into that, I want to start by introducing, or for some, reintroducing NextStreet to you all, as well as our Industrial Supply Chain Forum. NextStreet is a small business solutions company that is really aiming and has a mission around developing and promoting economic opportunity and growth across the country. And through our work in many different states across the country, our effort has really been to try to help support corporations, governments, and philanthropy in developing end-to-end solutions that ultimately help propel the small businesses that power and drive America's supply chains and communities across this country. Within that, the Industrial Supply Chain Forum is one real way in which we've been realizing our mission. With all of the different economic transitions that are happening across the country, the Industrial Supply Chain Forum is really meant to serve as a forum for dialogue about what are the different ways in which we think about industrial policies, regional investment strategies, and small business and workforce development programs all around these core industries that are building out across the country. And within the forum, really the intention of it is to be able to learn from you all and to highlight the initiatives that we're seeing on the ground, including the Get in the Game initiative here in Los Angeles, as well as the work that we're doing in a place like Michigan for the Michigan Hub for Manufacturers. And all of it is around how to best support small businesses to be able to connect and grow through the resources that are offered through the ecosystems that we see across the country. And so with that in mind, one thing that I've really been thinking about through this event today is just how special it is that we're actually here in Los Angeles. And the reason for it, for me personally, is that for those who know me, they know that I actually am a born and bred Angelino. I grew up in a small business family, in fact, in the San Gabriel Valley. And my parents actually were small business owners for over 25 years. And through that experience, had seen really what small businesses can do in our communities and neighborhoods, not only in building economies, but more specifically what that means in terms of our lives and what it means socially. And as think about where the forum and this conversation is really going about today, the other part that really been thinking about is the challenges that small businesses have been facing and how that has been focused around capital access or navigating different regulations to even thinking about how do you plan for tomorrow when you are trying to solve certain problems today. And so that is really where we want to center today's conversation. And within Los Angeles, with all the changes that are happening, how do we really center focusing on community and rooting within our small businesses while also recognizing that change is a constant in places across the country, but especially in Los Angeles. And we know very well in Los Angeles that there has been significant changes. There has been opportunities and challenges that are really fundamental to what is the makeup of this region. Of course, at the start of this year, some of the most tragic news had happened around the devastating wildfires, and that has still been an emotional scar for all of us here in Los Angeles. And we also know that there are still really long-term pernicious challenges that are faced across this region, whether that be around housing shortages and the infrastructure development that's happening across this region. And so you think about that, you also think about where the region is going, though, that there is significant momentum around, specifically around different types of investments that are happening, the major events that has been the center of the Get in the Game efforts, as well as real focus on sustainable development and growth. Those two truths are real here. And that's what we're going to be talking about through this conversation today. Before I pass it over to Everett, I just want to also just acknowledge Lendistry and some of the journey that we've actually had over the last several years together. I think the first time we actually met Everett was in 2019 when we were starting our small business ecosystem assessment at that point in time. Both of our organizations were much smaller. I think we both look much younger. But now it is really exciting to see the growth that Lendistry has had. It is truly a remarkable story to think about the growth that it's had in just a decade in a community development space that has continued to evolve from here. And so without further ado, I want to bring up Everett just to share a few words as we kick off the effort here.
So welcome to Lendistry. Good to see some faces that I know fairly well and also to meet some new faces. If you're not familiar with Lendistry, you're sitting in our living room right now. So, welcome and hopefully you have a good time here. So we did meet Next Street in 2019, started in Atlanta talking about essentially what could we do for communities. And I would encourage you, whether it be this session on Forging Ahead or others, that you embrace not only the opportunity to talk to people you might know or might not know, but this is for us where a lot of innovation happens when we're getting the opportunity to talk to what we would consider the street, but also getting to talk to different community advisors as well as those who are professionals. If you're not familiar with Lendistry, let me tell you a little bit about us. We're celebrating 10 years recently and $10 billion deployed. We've taken probably about 300,000 applications in Los Angeles and Los Angeles County. So we do consider ourselves one of the largest small business capital deployers here. And if you were to ask SBA, we are the largest SBA lender in California, in Los Angeles. And so we continue to obviously make strides. If you're not familiar with kind of how we do that, we deploy capital for banks. We go generally where they can't go, and a lot of times that's related to operational efficiency. We help Fortune 500s. If you're on LinkedIn, you probably just saw we announced a partnership with Walmart and their e-commerce platform. We also help community organizations. So, for example, you will see later or you'll meet later Maria Salinas. And we helped LA Chamber deploy capital in a small business disaster recovery loan fund and grant program. The goal there is to raise $25 million in terms of grants, $200 million in terms of loan funds, and so far 230 businesses have been helped. But as you all know with the wildfires, we still have a long way to go. We'll continue to obviously be here with you not only tonight, but you'll continue to see additional information from Lendistry. As was mentioned today, there's a lot of good things on the horizon. And whether you are a sports fanatic, and that's FIFA, and that's Super Bowls, and that's Olympics, and you're going to see some information coming out from us on that in the first quarter of the year in terms of how we plan to help small businesses, or it's just the ability to deploy capital. I would encourage you to be positive and feel that sunshine that's coming through the door, because I think there's a lot to still be happy about, and there's a lot of things that you all are doing that are great in the community. So I'll ask you to focus on that as we continue to move forward, and have a good evening. I'll turn it back to Spencer, and thank you again for the opportunity to be here, and thank you for the opportunity to come into our home.